Hey everyone, Rarity Dash here, and yeah, we're doing this again. Yep, another year, another Fez. I think this is the fourth year in a row where I've done these tier lists. Yeah, because the first one I saw was 2nd Fes, but that was when I was new, and really still didn't even know all the Hololive members. And I bought the ticket to support Hajima and Coco, and I enjoyed that experience enough that I bought a ticket the next year for 3rd Fes, and that was the one where it was just so hype that I had to talk about it, and I decided to choose a tier list as the format to do so. And every year since then, I've done these videos for each of the subsequent Feses, and that continues on to this year with Colorize Harmony, which it's kind of an odd title. I don't entirely know what it means exactly. Maybe something to do with the new costumes, the new idol uniforms, which have that splash of color to them, which I think is the dominant feature, other than other than the midriff windows. But more on that later. Just to get it all up front with these tier list videos, so everyone is clear. I love everyone. At the tier list, you can notice, starts with A, because everyone is great. We're just parsing different levels of excellence here. This is not meant to disparage any talent. I know they're all working super hard, and I respect them and what they put into these performances. And I don't want it to seem like I'm being down on anyone. But I'm just sort of using this format to talk about the show and highlight what was the most hype for me and what could have been maybe a little bit better, and all of that. Also, for this show in particular, I want to emphasize that this is my opinion as someone who watched the streaming package on Spawn, which definitely worth it. I mean, it's like $160 for a stream or 4 streams of anime girls singing on a stage, but I think it's entertainment enough to warrant the price, and would definitely recommend it. But yeah, I think for this show in particular, a lot of the opinions I have as a stream watcher are going to be different from what someone who experienced it there in the venue would have. So just want to get that out of the way up front, that this is highly subjective, and it's also, of course, obviously going to be informed by my biases, both in terms of which members are my favorite and just in terms of which songs I prefer. So your list probably going to look very different, and this is definitely not intended to be definitive in any kind of way. This is just what stood out to me and my thoughts, really, about this great show that I watched. That all out of the way, let's talk about the show and start from the beginning. I'm going to be going through all 4 stages, stage 1, 2, 3, as well as the creator stage, which was between 2 and 3. And we'll start with stage 1, which had an atypical start, because we did not start with a big group number, as is typical. We started with Suisei, and it was, I think, done this way just to showcase what turned out to be a particular recurring gimmick of this show, which was this interesting box, or cube, as I saw a lot of commenters on Spawn calling it, that came down from the ceiling and sort of just stayed above the crowd, right in the center of the crowd. Because this is like that big, I think it's the same venue from last year, where we had this like big stadium with like 2 stages, one on either end. And this cube thing came down right in the center and just sort of stayed there. And inside the cube was one of the girls. And it was kind of a neat thing. The idea, obviously, to, I guess, make it seem more like they actually exist in a 3D space, because you got all these different angles, and the cube's like rotating the whole time, so there are different windows that you can see into it, and it really looks like this exists as a 3D person inside this space. Maybe more so than on the stages, where I guess to someone in the venue it may look like you're looking at a screen, at least to some degree. And that's cool. I appreciate the technology and that aspect of it. As a stream watcher, though, and this is kind of why I gave that disclaimer at the start, I don't think that this gimmick really enhances the experience at all. Like, it's kind of cool, it's kind of neat, it's kind of hyped to see who's going to be in the cube, but, like, for a stream watcher, the stage is already very immersive. It already looks like the stage is alive and real and in a 3D space. So we don't need the added illusion when watching the stream. So we're not really getting anything from the cube, and it is kind of a debuff because it takes it away from the stage lights. It takes it away from like the special effects, like if there are flames or sparks or anything coming up on the stage. It kind of puts them away from the band too, because it's always kind of cool to see that sort of effect with like the band in the background of a shot. And they also just have less space to move around in because they're in a tiny cube as opposed to on a big stage. So I just feel like it's a bit of a debuff for a stream watcher. It's probably pretty cool when the cube comes down in that crowd, but like making my tier list as someone who watched the stream, the cube isn't always going to be a positive in how I rank a performance. And Suisse sang Stellar Stellar, which is a great song, of course, but it's also an old song at this point. It's been around for a really long time, and she's done it at Fest before. Was it 3rd Fes? I think. Or might have even been 2nd Fes, but I've definitely seen her sing Stellar Stellar. The 2nd Fes was Next Killer Planet. I think it was 3rd Fes. Yeah, just I saw it there, and I feel like I've heard Suisse sing Stellar Stellar enough. Like, I don't really know what I'm getting from her performing that particular song again. Like, it's good, of course, but it just kind of feels unnecessary at this point. Like, I wanted a different song. So we're actually going to be maybe doing something that some of you might find a bit sacrilegious here, and we're actually going to be putting Suisse in the lowest tier. I didn't really get anything from this performance. Yeah. And I'm also going to do this. Capture the Moment, Stage 1. Also goes in that A tier. It was good, but the hype of the moment was from just seeing the new outfits for the first time. And I mean, that is a hype moment. I could probably knock it up 1 for that. But the song, I'm just not as big a fan. I mean, if you've seen previous tier lists for previous years, the group songs tend to score lower for me. I prefer when I hear them all individually as opposed to all singing together. And the Big Idol songs, they're good, but they're not usually my favorites. So I just feel like, I mean, it's fun to see which color outfit Shiori is going to wear or whatever, but it's not that hype in comparison when I have to look at this moment compared to the rest of the show. And that's also Capture the Moment. It's an okay Hololive song. I think I was pretty hype on it last year when it was new, but I don't think it's really retained that level of hype going forward in the same way some others like. Like, I still get pretty hype at Our Bright Parade. I think it's a better song. But Capture the Moment, going to be in that bottom A tier. Moving on, we had Koyori doing her new song, Shiawase Koyorian, and I thought this was pretty cool. I thought it was very hype, very high energy. The dancing was great. She was super cute. And I feel like she brought a new level out of the song. I forget what I thought of the song when I first heard it, when I reacted to it. I think I liked it, but I don't know if I was like thrilled with it. But on that stage, yeah, that was pretty cool. She brought it. Also bringing it was Ollie. She did a cover of a song called Children Record, apparently. I'm unaware of the song, but it was a high energy rock song, perfectly suited to Ollie, and it just led to a fairly hype performance. Like, she just rocked out. The band was great, and it just really suited. It's just what you want from Ollie. I mean, let's just put it that way. Just a very Ollie performance, and a great moment for the show. Then we had our first group, I guess Capture the Moment is the first group song, but like smaller group song. Idolife Starter Pack. This was with Matsuri, Nene, and LaPlus. And this was also really cool. This was like a high energy, very cute song. And they were all great. Like, it was very cute. Like, cuter than I would usually expect for LaPlus in particular. But I think it worked pretty well. Because she usually likes to go for like the edgy, chuny songs, doesn't she? So seeing her do something cuter and idol, it's very much a Matsuri and Nene song, but seeing LaPlus do that made it kind of, it made it a bit more fun. And just all in all, very cute, very fun song. Definitely enjoyed that. So it gets an S rank. Next we had LaPlus's solo song, which was kind of a bit more what you'd expect from LaPlus. Though not like super out there. It was kind of a straightforward rock song, I would say. It was called Tokyo Teddy Bear, apparently. This was another cover. It was good. It was very solid, but it wasn't really something that had much staying power with me when I was rewatching the show. Like, I didn't even remember it. Like, it wasn't like a moment where I watched it the first time and like really remembered LaPlus. But in the moment, it's cool. So I think that's going to be our first in that A+ tier. Not at the bottom, but kind of just there. Next we had Luna. She did, two songs, basically. I guess it's a medley, but like Guru Guru Mawaru Mawaruna, that went on for a long time, it felt like. So like kind of an odd medley where I don't know, it just felt like Luna had a lot of time, but it was cute. I mean, these were both songs. It was Guru Guru Mawaru Mawaruna and Manaka Chiten. So 2 Luna classics, I would say. And it's about what you want from Luna. Pretty cloying saccharine, but in that cutesy way that she's known for. I think since it's exactly what you want, I think I can put it in S. I think it'd be hard for me to put a Luna performance much higher, but I think it was pretty great. Next, we had our first of 2 Fuwamoka songs, which apparently that is the way we're doing it. We did that at Breaking Dimensions 2, where I guess they're both. I mean, it's 2 performers, so each one of them is still getting a song in the show, but they're allowed to be twin songs. They're not forcing them to do solos, I should say. So, I think that's a pretty good way to do it. I mean, I'd kind of like to hear them do solo songs. I think that'd be interesting, but I think most people would prefer we just get 2 twin songs. And the first one was Born to Be Battle, which, I kind of feel like we've been there with Breaking Dimensions. It didn't feel that fresh, but I will say I think the venue kind of helped a lot. I think the crowd was just super into it, and that's enough to often sell me on something. Like, just seeing all of them bow in unison, like the bridge part especially. Like, just that high energy, just bow, 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 going into the just great guitar solo courtesy of the live band, who were on fire for pretty much the whole show. I think that this was a pretty definitive version of Born to Be Battle, and for that, I'm going to give it an S+. I thought, yeah, just really good stuff. Next, we had a duet with Noel and Flair, and it was a kind of split time thing where they first sang a Flair song and then a Noel song. And it was Daiken Gensai Yume no Flair Channel and Wander, which is, pretty good choices. It's one of Flair's better songs, one of her most hype, weird songs. And then a really catchy, really fun, really wholesome Noel song. And I think in the case of both, they sounded great together. It's good to see this pair. Like, this is like one of the pairs back in the day, but one that I feel like didn't get emphasized as much for a while. But you get the sense that they're still like really close behind the scenes. I don't know. But it's just good to see them on the stage together, and they, I think, complement each other very well, and it made for a very fun, very engaging performance. Definitely enough for an S at least. Very cute. Next, we had something fairly hype, which was Nerissa's Hololive Fest debut, and she went with Say My Name, which was pretty cool. I mean, it's her most popular song, her biggest song so far, but she did not do it at Breaking Dimensions. She did Sweetest Scarlet instead. So this was kind of a bit more fresh for that reason, I would say. And she killed it. Great. I mean, it's just fun to watch Nerissa. She's another one where it's just fun to watch her move and watch her get into a song. I think she has quite a bit of stage presence, and I think the song's great, of course. I think it's definitely a high S+. Next, we had the second Fuamoko song, and this one was a cover of a song called Gyako no Flugel. And it was really good. Trying to remember. I remember why I liked it. There was a lot of like back and forth, like a lot of like almost sort of call and response type vocals, which is, I mean, great when you have twin vocalists. And I think it was just a very smart song choice for the two of them. It was just a cool song that suited them well and was enjoyable to listen to. I mean, I'm going to rank it a little bit lower than the Born to Be Battle, even though it was something newer. I just feel like that one, because of the crowd interaction and everything, that was a bit more of a moment song. This was just more generically hype. I don't know. Reminder that some of this is pretty arbitrary, but I made these rankings, I made these ratings in the moment after rewatching the show, because I did rewatch the show after watching it the first time. So these are based on my second impressions of watching it immediately after each performance. Next, we had Noel's solo performance, and it was Itazura Nya, which is a album track from her album. I don't think it ever even got a music video, so it's kind of an interesting pick because of that. But it is very much your typical sort of Noel song, just very cute. Like, she has a lot of very cute, very catchy music. This is definitely another one of those. I don't know why it never got a music video. I definitely feel like it could have. It should have, probably. But it's a cute song. Noel is adorable. I mean, she has possibly my favorite design in Hololive. So I really love watching her on stage and just seeing her perform. She is always just really cute. And this song was great. It is kind of interesting how, I mean, Wander was probably her song to go with this year, but she went with that in the Flair duet. So that's kind of, and this was kind of something left over for her solo. But I think it was still a great song, and it's going to join that duet in the S rank. Next was Los 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 with Watame and Iris, which is an interesting combination. Two of my favorites for Holo music. Which stage one I think was kind of stacked for me. Like, feel like we had most of my favorites on stage one. Like, because we have Shiori, we have Hachima, we have just a lot of girls I'm really, really a big fan of. I mean, all of the ID girls, like, that's my favorite ID girl from every generation of ID. It's Muna, Ali, and Kyla. And then Iris, my favorite from Promise. And I already mentioned how much I love Noelle, and I mean, Nana is my favorite from Gen 5, Watame is my favorite from Gen 4. So yeah, just stage one was stacked. But yeah, they sing Low Slow Slows, which is a cool song. It's a cool song. It didn't really, I don't know. I thought it was good, but it didn't really make much of an impression on me for whatever reason. Even though it's two talents I really like, and it's a song that is cool, that I knew because I think Bae covered it, or was it, no, Crony? Someone covered it. One of the Yang girls. And because I knew the song, but just for whatever reason, it was another one of those where it's really good in the moment, but it's not something I really had much memory of after the show. It didn't really stick with me. So it's going in the A+ with La Plus. And so is Flair. Flair is also in that A+ category. She did a new song, though. And I do respect that. And Funfair is a decent song. With Fake Type, and Flair, I think she performed it well. I don't know, it's not as strong to me as some of the other Fake Type Hollow songs. This performance didn't really change my opinion of that in any way. Like, I mean, that sometimes happens. I see them performing on the stage. Like, that kind of happened with the Kagori one. Like, I think I like that song more now. But, Funfair, yeah, it's good. Next, we have Shiori. And Shiori, one of my Oshis in Hololive. I definitely love her. I'm definitely biased towards her. I know I am. She sang a cover of a song called Kakuse, which I'm not very familiar with. First SS of the night. I try not to be biased, but her voice on that song, like, I don't know. Shiori, I just love how her vocal tone sounds. I know she's not like she's not one of the best singers, is she? Like, or is she in a weird way? I don't know anymore. Like, Breaking Dimensions, she was I didn't do a tier list for that show, but she was my top song for both days. Like, Shiori, she won the show for me. And this wasn't as good as that, I'll say, but it was still just really cool. Like, she had the low, but she didn't just go low. Like, her voice had a lot of variance. It was a very interesting, intricate song. And her voice just sounded really cool on it. And I loved it. But, yeah, Shiori luckily doesn't have to stay in that tier alone very long, because Matsuri was also SS, which is kind of odd for me, because unlike Shiori, Matsuri is a talent I don't really have a strong connection to. I don't have anything against her, but she's just not one I've really watched much at all. I mean, occasionally I'll see a clip, but I think it's very rare, actually. She doesn't really have a whole lot of innate appeal to me. But she went up there, and I think it was a new song, a new original, Love Letter. And I think it's her best original yet. I think this is a just really cool, really strong song that... and she was also in the Cube. Like, this is one where she was in the Cube, but I don't think she really suffered much of a debuff, because it was more of like a kind of ballady song, bit of a slower one. And I think the Cube the cube kind of, when you do a solo song, I think it kind of helps make it feel a bit more intimate. So it kind of helps with those sometimes. And I don't know, it was just a very cool song. I like how it built. It was really appealing. I think she put out a music video for it, so I'm looking forward to seeing that now that I've seen the premiere at Fes. But I definitely think this is probably Matsuri's best song so far. And you do get bonus points when you debut a song at Fes. I think it's pretty cool when they do. So that is another reason that goes in SS. Next, we had Hare Hare Yuka. Yes. This is always a fun one. A bit of a blast of nostalgia for people my age, at least, who have been into anime for a while. Very classic song. Very fun song. And it was Hachima, Luna, and Koyori singing it. So, I think that's about perfect, what you want. Because Hachima, she kind of has Haruhi vibes in a weird way. Because, you wouldn't really think, but it works somehow. I can see her in that role pretty easily. And Luna, she definitely has the Miku vibes down. Just that works too, just that cloying moe. I don't know if Kogori is really an acceptable analog for Yuki, but whatever. It doesn't really matter. Close enough. And this was great. I think it's enough for an S+. And maybe that's just the nostalgia. Maybe that's just my Hachima bias. But I thought it was just fun and delightful. And I love how all these years later, we have Hachima still slipping. It was Hachima, right? One of them at least slipped in an Endless 8 joke. Because just that anime will never live that down. And that is hilarious. Then Kyla came on, and she did a cover of a song called Brave Heart. And I'm pretty excited to see Kyla's continued progress as an idol. I think she has a great voice. Another one where I know she hasn't sung as much as a lot of these girls, but I just love her vocal tone. And I just find her voice appealing. And it was a great song choice for her, I think. It's kind of like a sort of mid-tempo rock song, I would say. With kind of like a, I don't know, uplifting feel. I mean, it's called Braveheart, so I don't know what it's about, but I'm guessing it's some kind of inspiring thing. But she sounded great on it, and it was pretty cool. I think maybe it's my Kyla bias, but that's going in S. Then we had Prism no Maho from Biju, and this is another one where, I mean, it's good. I can't really say what would make it better, but it's not really a standout to me. Maybe it's because I've heard the song too many times. Maybe it's because I've seen her perform it in other places, but that goes in A+. Sorry, Bibu, but that's how it is. Next, Nene came up, and she did her new song, her Love, whatever it is, the one about wanting to be your Oshi or whatever. And it was really fun. I mean, Nene just killed it last year. I mean, she was not one of my SS+, but very close. I think she was on that night where we had Hachima as a surprise guest, and that was such a hype moment for me that that ended up being my SS+, but I think if that didn't happen, Nene would have been, because, this was enough to make me just really start loving her as a performer. And this was another really solid performance, and the song I do like, but it's not quite to that same level. Still very good, though. Very cute song. She's a consummate idol, and she sounded great, so I think it's a safe S. Rebellion is another A+. Just, I feel like heard it a bit too many times. I think Sirens would have been a smarter choice at this point. I know this is their arrival at Fez, so maybe you want to start with their debut song, but I don't know. I've heard Advent perform Rebellion. I think just few too much. It just wasn't anything new. Let's just put it that way. Then we had my girl, Hachima, come on. And she did her brand new song, Who To? And, yeah, this is another SS. It is probably biased, I know. But then again, I think a lot of what has me loving this performance some more isn't even so much about Hachima as it is the band. Because this is Hachima's big rock song. This is the one where it really goes just hard on the instrumental. And the band, it just went all in. And Hachima's on the stage just like throwing her all into it. And it's adorable and it's fun. And it's just a really good time. And that was a big, memorable one. I think we had a lot of fire and stuff too. Like it just all in on the theatrics. And I love that. Definitely made for a big moment. And then we had Iris. She did Twilight, which, obviously that was going to be the song. That's her song for the year, pretty much. And it's a good song. I definitely feel like... I don't know. I don't remember what I thought of Twilight when it first came out. I think I liked it. But I think it's one that's gone from me liking it to really liking it as the months have gone on. I definitely think it's actually up there with Iris's best songs. And it was good to see it live. I think she did a really good job of it, and very, very solid as. Like her choreography was good, her vocal was excellent, just really excellent performance. Muna came on then, and she did Multiverse, and this is a song where I will say I don't know if I really was feeling it before. Like, when it first came out, I definitely feel like I wanted to like it more than I did. And I feel like this performance actually did help sell it on me more. I feel like I liked the song more after seeing Muna actually perform it. So, big points for improving my impression of the song. And I think Muna was great. This was another one in the cube. And I think it worked pretty well. I think maybe it would have been better without the cube. This might have been, I'm putting this in S+, but it might have been an SS without the cube. I don't really think it needed to be all claustrophobic, but still, just a really cool performance. I love seeing, I think it was even kind of the same way with High Tide. I don't think I liked High Tide as much as everyone else until 3rd Fes came around. And then I saw Muna actually live the song and just sort of go through all the motions, and I don't know, she has just such a way of bringing her songs to life on a stage that it really helps me appreciate them more when I see her actually do that. So, yeah, that's an easy S+ for me. Also an S+ is Be a Flower, which was our Hololive group song. This also had Muna on it, as well as Ollie and Kyla. And as said, these are my 3 ID girls, my 3 favorites from ID. So seeing them together on a song, I think I was always going to love it. And I definitely did. I think they just work well together. It's kind of interesting to see how short Muna is. Like, you don't expect her to be shorter than Ollie. But Ollie is tall. And, of course, Kyla's tall. But, like, I don't know. But yeah, the song, very cool. It was another cover. Don't think I know the song. But I think it was just the right vibe for the 3 of them. And it just had a really cool energy. So yeah, another winner. Then Watame came on, and I was kind of glad, because I was a bit worried at this point in the show, because we were getting pretty late into it, and at this point, if it had ended, then Hachima would go up there. Because if you don't remember how this works, the SS Plus category, that's reserved only for my favorite song of the night. So there's only going to be one of those. And I was worried it was going to be Hachima, and you guys... Because I know that's just bias. I know she's not the best, but just... Like, I either put her or Shiori up there, and either way, I don't think that's at all subjective. And yeah, Watame, she took the stage, and suddenly that didn't matter anymore because she was, at that point, clearly the best song of the night. This is another easy SS, and it's pretty much a perfect solo performance. I mean, it's pretty much it's the best Hololive song to come out in the last 3 months at least, maybe longer. Like, I can't think of anything I like more. Yeah, Watame Pop. It's just such a catchy, fun song, and Watame, she just does it perfectly. The band, they were on it too, and it just sounded great. Everything about that performance was just on, and I seriously loved it. And at this point, I was actually convinced it was going to be my SS Plus of Stage 1, but it wasn't, as you may have noticed. Yeah. Though Toa was not either. Before any Toa fans get too excited, Toa's solo performance was good, but it's about an S. Toa did a medley of 3 songs, and I feel like the medley approach is sometimes a bit dangerous. Like, Subaru last year was kind of in the same boat that I feel like Toa was this year, where I feel like if she had just done one of these songs, it would have been better, just the new one. Because, I mean, she's done Raime. She did in the medley was Fact, My Abyss, and Raime. Raime, Toa did in one of the previous fests. I want to say it was 4th Fes. I don't know for sure, though. In fact, at this point, it's a pretty old song. So I feel like just My Abyss that would have been the Toa performance for right now. But instead, we only get a little bit of My Abyss, and the rest of the time is spent on these older songs. And, I mean, it's Toa, so of course it still sounded amazing. And we still did at least get to hear and see some of that live My Abyss that I would have wanted. So, unlike, say, Suisei, there was still some fresh parts to it, and it was still a pretty cool moment. So I'm still going to put it in the S category. But, yeah. Not exactly what I wanted from Toa this year. At least on that song, because, yeah, here it is. This performance made it easy. Like, this was so cool. Suisei and Toa coming together for a song called Platonic Girl, which I've never heard of, but it was just remarkably hype. Like, what is this song? Like, where did this come from? It's like perfect for these two, and they sounded amazing on it. And every aspect, like the special effects of the show, the band, it just was such a hype moment. And I was stunned by how good at that, because I had, at that point, completely written off the chance that anything was going to top Watame. Like, seriously, I was sure my sheep had it in the bag that she was going to go down as my favorite Stage 1 performer. But, or performance, I mean, because this isn't... she's still the best solo performer of Stage 1. But, yeah, that was the best singular performance. And, yeah, wasn't even close. It was just so cool. As for color, rise, harmony, I'm going to put probably these in A+, because at least the song's new. This is the new theme, so there's that appeal. But it's only narrowly A+ instead of A, because again, it's a big group song, and really the hype of the moment is just in seeing who's wearing what color t-shirt and who doesn't have the t-shirt tied. And the song itself is just sort of there. So, not really a whole lot to say, but I mean, I do like this theme. I don't really know if it's going to have staying power. Like, it's going to be one that I return to. I mean, I think I kind of like the smaller group version better, because I feel like that kind of highlights the solo parts a bit more. Like the one that I reacted to. Um, I think that kind of compares favorably to these like big ensemble ones where it is all just choir vocals. So I don't know. Capture the Moment 2, same as Capture the Moment 1. It's my comments are pretty much the same. Although, no, for stage 2, we're on to stage 2 now. I do have something extra to say, which is I'm not a fan of the decision to not give the new costumes to Regloss. I feel like I don't know. I just don't like that. I don't like that they stand out like that. That I mean, I kind of feel like or felt like the entire reason of redesigning the costumes was so we'd have something that kind of maybe fits the vibe of Regloss a bit more. Because I feel like, I mean, they look fine in these. These are pretty modern and sleek. They're not like too frilly and too idly. So I think it's a missed opportunity, and it kind of hurts the group cohesion a little bit. So I don't know. That's just a bit of a side rant. I don't think it really affects the placement of Capture the Moment Stage 2 either way. But just a thought. And I'll probably talk about that a bit more as we go into the Regloss performances. But before that, Polka. Now, Polka's an odd one. Because Polka did Poe. And I think if that would have happened... I think Polka doing Poe, that would have been very much just exciting to me a few weeks ago. The idea that Polka was going to do Poe at Fes. Like, I would have been hyped that was going to happen. Just Polka deciding to throw all caution to the wind and just do her brain rot song. Like, that is fun. That's what I want. That's just kind of like a big troll move, and it's perfect Polka energy. And Poe is actually a good song. Like, I stand by that. Poe is actually... it's actually a bop. Like, unironically. But... in the past few weeks, Polka has released not just one excellent song, but multiple of her best songs ever. Like, if you haven't heard her Funny, Filmy, or whatever it is, her new album, like, it is... very high quality. Like, one of my favorite Hololive releases in a while, actually. Like, the final song in particular, I think it was Polkatic Finale or something like that. Such a good song. And there's, like, this other one with, like, a sort of Middle Eastern feel. And then there's... a lot of just interesting stuff. A lot of really cool songs on that album. And there's a video that I put out yesterday where I reacted to them, and I reacted to all the new songs on the album. I spent so much of that video just speculating on which of the songs, because that was recorded before Fez, speculating on which of those songs Polka would be performing at the show. And after all of that, she does none of them and instead does Poe. And it just leaves me conflicted. I think this probably would have scored higher, but because of my conflicting emotions, I can only put it in S. I think Poe might have gotten an S+, maybe even an SS, just just because otherwise, but because there were just so many good polka songs to recently come out, I can only go S. Bay is an easy SS. Like, this was just amazing. She did a cover of Show, which is a great song, and of course Bay is such an excellent performer. Just the energy, the dance. This was like so impeccably good that for much of the show I feared it was not going to be topped. Like, this, spoiler, I mean, it's not my... You can see it's not my favorite song of the night. It's not an SS+. But for much of the night, I thought it was going to be. And, yeah. Easily one of the best songs of the night. And another just amazing performance from Bay. Yeah, Marine, she also goes SS. I think she was another in the Cube. She did How About Pie Pie Mask. And despite my thoughts on the cube earlier, I don't think it really hurt her too much. Because Maureen, she just... Well, it's a fun song, and she made it fun. I think this is only barely an SS for me, if I recall. I feel like I was kind of on the fence for it. But, I mean, there's just so much charm to seeing Maureen perform and just kind of acting out a song like that. And it got me going. I think it got the crowd going too, which also probably influenced me. Yeah, I can remember that now. Like, they were all like shouting, and it was really really energetic and just a fun thing. I'm just checking. You may have noticed that other video. The camera died halfway through, so just checking that we're still live. Yeah, Maureen, she kind of killed it, and it was great. So, a narrow SS there. Rigloss came on then, and I think I can put this at a safe S. I was so glad that they actually went with Feeling Gradation and not Shrunken Heartbeat. Like, I thought they were going to do the same thing Advent did and just go with their debut song for their Fes debut. But they went with a song that was not only fresher, but a song that I like more. So I think I was pretty grateful for that. And it was really cool. I mean, they have a lot of chemistry, obviously, and just sound good together. And it was a very solid performance. Then we had Iroha. Iroha came out and did Magical Show, or Maho Shoujo Magical Gazaru. Maho Shoujo Magical Gazaru. And this is a cute song, though not one that I've ever been like super like that impressed by. I remember thinking it was fun, thinking it was cute back when I reacted to it, but it's not something I ever really had any interest in revisiting. And Iroha, as a performer, is also not really one that stands out to me too much. It wasn't bad, it was good for sure, but definitely A+ territory for me. So sadly was Ririka. Ririka, she's my favorite from Rigloss, but I'm just not really a fan of her first solo song. What is the title on Kyomo Dai Tensai? Yeah, it's a bit repetitive for me on the chorus. Like, I feel like it just repeats that core phrase a bit too much, and I don't know. Just doesn't really do it to me. Also, I really don't like that they don't have the idol costumes for these, especially Ririka, because this was so much an idol song. Like, it is very much your typical sort of idol pop song, and she's out there stuck in a very casual outfit. I mean, it's still fun to watch her model, definitely, but I don't know. I just feel like, why doesn't she get the outfit? Like, she'd be a lot cuter in the outfit. Not one of my favorites. Next, Rene. Rene did her, I think it's still her newest song, Yummy Yum Yummy, which is a pretty good Rene song. Like, I think that's upper tier Rene, and I think she did it very well. I think this was, again, kind of borderline still between A+ and S, but I went with S. I think it was a bit more memorable than the A+ songs. Even though it didn't really stand out that much overall. But I do like the song, I do like Rene, so I think S is a safe place for it. Mesmerizer with Polka and Bay. This was fun. This was like a really, really fast song. Like, they were like high-speed vocals. And it was like really impressive. And I think it was cool, like these two together. I mean, it's Polka and Bay, basically your chaos pair. And it's just a brilliant combination. I just feel like they go together very well. I think what held this back slightly and why it's an S+ instead of maybe a double S is because Polka's vocals, like especially on the chorus, I feel were a bit shrill, and maybe it's just the song. but I don't know. I didn't really find some of the vocals very pleasant. Like it got into this register that I didn't really want it there. So maybe it's just the song choice, but it was still very cool. Still a very fun, very hype song. So I'm still going to put it S+. Then we had Xion, her last ever solo Fes performance. She did Gomen Medicine, which is a song that I don't think really stood out to me much when it came out. I think I liked it okay. I don't really remember the reaction very well again, but not really one I've been revisiting. But seeing Xion perform it, and I think again this was a box one, I think it helped me see the appeal of the song a bit more. It's a pretty catchy hook, actually, and I think what really benefited this song is the crowd response. Obviously, since everyone in that stadium knew what's going on, and they're not going to have Xion around much anymore, there was just such this big reaction to the song, and it's hard not to get swept away on that. I felt it. I felt the energy from the song. So I don't know if on its own it would have ranked this high, but just because of that feeling and the crowd and everything, I'm going to put it SS. Yeah, very cool. Next we had Al. Again, not a fan of the casual outfit for a performance at an Idol concert. Especially Al's. Al's is very, just not suited to performing on that stage. It's such a bulky, suit jacket. It just doesn't seem right. I didn't really like it. But, Al, she wins with her voice. I like Club Blue Fire as a song a lot, too. I think she's a charismatic performer. I think she worked past the debuffs and was able to turn in a pretty respectable performance and enough for an S. I thought it was good. Next, from the Regloss group, we have Kanade, who did a cover song of a song called Melt. And I expect a lot from Kanade. I've seen enough to know that she's one of the top tier vocalists in Hololive. She has the voice, and I feel like this didn't go hard enough for me. This, it was kind of a low key song, and I didn't really like the chorus very much. I don't know. I think my expectations might have been too high, but it didn't really grab me. So it's another A+. It was good, but I don't know. I want something better from Kanade. Ultra C was next. This was a group song with with Risu, Reine, and Kiara, and I think it was a good fit for these three. Trying to remember. Oh, I remember what I liked about it. Risu's part was very low. It was definitely Risu's lower register, and it sounded really cool because she has that crazy range. And often when she's displaying her crazy range, we focus on the higher notes. But this is all about Risu's sexy low voice. And also Kiara. I feel like Kiara had a lot of chemistry. She was kind of leading the song, it felt like. And she had her dance moves, and I just feel like the energy was really good. Just some great vibes from the song. I don't know if the song was really my favorite thing ever, but the three of them were just consummate performers, and they added a lot of dimension to it, and made for a S-class performance. Next, we had Rodin, and I feel like Rodin actually, her outfit, it feels the least out of place on a stage for whatever reason of the Regloss crew. I feel like she had the least debuff in that regard. She also picked a song very much just suited to her. It was a cover of a song called Kamakura Style, and it just had big Rodin energy, and she sang it very well. It was fun. It was an engaging performance, yeah, I just the backdrop also helped a lot. I think they had a lot of like those classic sort of artsy visuals to go along with a very traditional, or a song that incorporates a lot of traditional sounds, traditional Japanese sounds, and it's the kind of performance that I both expect from Rodin and really kind of want from Rodin, and I think it was a lot of fun. So S plus. And Hajime. Hajime was interesting because she had the ultimate advantage going in of the Reglass Girls. She had far and away the best solo song at her disposal of any of the Reglass Girls so far, and she did not even perform it. There was no count-talk, which is it could have been a disappointment, but it wasn't, because she picked a pretty brilliant choice to do instead for her song, which is a cover of Hai Yorokande, which is a song that's been going around. I think someone did it at the New Year's show, and Gigi, I think, put out a cover of it on the Halloween side, and it's apparently a big song right now, and it's perfect for Hajime, for her energy, for her dancing. Again, not really crazy about her outfit on that stage, but Hajime, she made it not really matter. Her dancing, her performance aspect is just so on point that this easily is a scroll up, not high enough. This is easily an SS. It was just a killer performance, really engaging, of a great song, and definitely one of the best of the night. Next was Ozuki, and she did Chaotic in Her World, one of the songs from her new album. I don't think it wasn't a single, though. I don't think I ever saw a video for it, but it was a pretty standout song on the album. It's one of the kind of darker songs on the album, at least in terms of feel. I mean, obviously the title is Chaotic in Her World, so I'm guessing also in terms of lyrical content, but cannot confirm. But yeah, it was really cool. I think the visuals helped, like all the special effects on the stage, and the band. I think they got pretty into it. Ozuki, her vocals, of course, were on point, and it was just a very, very strong performance from a great performer. So another easy S plus. Next was the interesting pairing of Kanata and Iroha, and they came out and they did a song called Nosho Sakuretsu Girl. And this was another like really fast-paced song. This was kind of like the one that Polka and Bay did, just a display of just pure speed and high energy. And it's kind of cool because it's not really something I expect from either of these two exactly. But they both were impeccable, and it was just really fun. There was like a extended dance break, I think, where they did some silly dancing that was super adorable, and also just helped keep you engaged the whole way through. And it was just a very fun, very enjoyable performance, and actually did enough to qualify for SS. Just a really, really fun, memorable part of the show there. Next, we had Risu's solo, and she did not do her latest original, which is probably a smart play. I think that song was maybe a bit too chill, a bit too low-key. I don't really know if it's the right song to bring to Fez. Instead, she went for a sort of rocky, anthemic thing called Flameheart, and covered that. And it was pretty great. I mean, it's not like the best Risu performance I've ever seen, but it's Risu, and her vocals were on full display, and it was just solidly excellent. So it's going to be actually higher than that. It's going to be an S+. Just really good stuff from Risu, as we've come to expect. Next is Kiara's solo, and she did Mirage, which is an excellent song from Kiara. Kiara, who was one of my SS Pluses last year. She is not this year. I think what got her that distinction last year was the fact that was our first time hearing Chimera, which is still probably my favorite Kiara song. But that was the first time we ever heard it. She debuted it there, so that got it extra points. On top of it just being such an amazing, engaging performance. This year, though, we had a song we already knew, but it's still a great song. I don't like Mirage quite as much as Kimura, but it's still up there in terms of my favorite Kiara songs. And the performance was excellent. Her moves were excellent. I feel like there were more shots from behind than you usually expect in a Fes performance, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, it was really cool, really exciting, really fun, and it's a great song. So that's an easy S+. Then we had Kobo. Kobo came on. She did a song called Kuma Kuma Ono Hatsukoi Kumatana, which is kind of a mouthful. And I don't know what this is. I mean, it's something to do with bears, obviously. But it was like the most wholesomely gentle thing ever from Kobo. It just had this sort of calming quality to it. And it was honestly beautiful. Like, definitely one of the moments of the night. And this was actually the first moment in stage 2 where I kind of put something ahead of Bay for a little bit. Though it didn't last. It didn't stay there. Kobo was also eventually surpassed. But, yeah, this is an easy SS. Just such a beautiful, quiet, gentle moment. I mean, it's kind of weird coming from Kobo. Like, you wonder, where is the Gaki? Where's the loud? But that's not the route she went for as a performer. She went extra wholesome, extra sweet, and it was just so soft and stunningly beautiful. And it was great. Then we had Hikaru Nara. This was sung by Azuki Shion and Pekora. And I know I've heard this song before. I don't really know where. I think it's been performed maybe at previous shows. The melody just, I mean, it feels familiar to me, even though I don't know what it's from. I don't really, it's not something I've ever actively chosen to listen to. But it's a decent enough song. It does have a pretty good melody. And these three together on it, I mean, it's going to be a pretty good moment. Not really one of my favorites of the night, but you have three talented, charismatic members on it, and they're singing a very solid song. So it's enough for an S. Maybe that's a bit of a narrow one between that and A+, but I think it's enough for an S. Then we had more Pekora. She came out with a song, one of her originals, Saikyo Megami Usapekora. I think the title song from her album, if I remember correctly, wasn't it? I think. That sounds right. I think it was like, the Megami, the goddess theme. This was really cool. I think a lot of what helped was the backdrop. the Nosagi backdrop was very fun, and Pekora was very high energy, and the crowd was just really into it, and it was a really, really engaging, fun moment of the show. And I think I was kind of on the fence here again about where to go between S+ and SS, but I marked it as an SS. I don't know if it really stuck. I'll trust past me here. I don't know. In the moment, I guess I really loved it. I can remember. I remember the crowd reaction. I remember. It was good. It was really good. It was a really good one. Moving on, we have Louis, who came on with Evil Eye Wink, which is actually probably my favorite Hololive song released last year, which might be kind of surprising because, I mean, Mayoshi released a full album of songs that are probably the best songs she's ever released. But I don't know, just Evil Eye Wink is such an excellent song. It's just such a catchy, fun melody, and I love Louis' voice, and I don't know, there's something about that song really, really speaks to me. And I think Louis came out and performed it just exceptionally well. But that said, I'm only going to put this at S+. I feel like, I don't know, it didn't have as much wow factor as maybe I wanted it to. I mean, the highlight, I think, was the actual winks. When she did the wink and her eye changed. I mean, that was pretty amazing. Like, that's what I want as a Louis fan. But I don't know. Maybe I wanted more pyrotechnics. I don't know if that song really needs pyrotechnics, though. I think maybe it was as good as it could be. Maybe it's not really. Maybe it's just not really a song meant for Fez. That was ever destined to be like one of the hypest moments. But I don't know. It's still very, very good. And as a fan, I'm glad she did it. Next, we had Louis still, but with Callie this time. So, two of my favorites for two songs, because we had another split song here, Rip and Overd. And it was kind of interesting. This was especially interesting because, I mean, the week before, we had that Callie concert, and I definitely watched that as well. And that was a concert where Callie did, like, none of her old songs. Like, there was one song off Hololive, and also Yona Yona Journey, and everything else in the entire show was from after she signed with UMG. So, starting with Shinigami Note, and most of it was the last two releases. She did everything on Phantom Mime, except for the song with Kobo, and she did all but two songs on Jigoku 6. So, Callie, in her concert, was heavily pushing the new stuff, and not really acknowledging the old. So it was kind of a neat treat to go back to Rip and actually hear that again. I mean, it's nothing fresh, exactly, but I don't know, in the moment, it's kind of just nice to see Callie on stage performing Rip again. And Overd, I mean, that's also nice. And it is true, I mean, Louis, I don't know if she's really able to fully go there with Rip. Like, she's good with English, definitely one of the best in the Holo JP, but, for a fast-paced rap song, her diction fails her a little bit sometimes. Still, it's pretty hype, it's pretty cute, and I love these two. And I think maybe just the biases is enough to put it in the S category. Kanata was next. It was kind of interesting, because at this point in the night, I was kind of keeping track of who had gone and who had it, and I'd completely forgotten that Kanata hadn't had a solo yet. So I wasn't expecting her. I thought there was only Callie left, and then the obvious Kobo Marine duet that was coming. I had completely forgotten about Kanata, so when she appeared on stage, I was not expecting it. I was like, oh, okay, there's Kanata too. Kanata was the best of the night. I mean, she did her best song. Fallen Wing is my favorite Kanata song by far. It's just, I don't know what it is exactly, but there's something about that song just speaks to me in a way. I think it's beautiful, and I think it was even more beautiful live. I think the band really just went in hard on that song. Like, I don't know if I really pay attention to, like, the guitar on, like, the track normally, but musically it's such a beautiful song, and then Kanata's vocal on top of it, her live vocal, it's just so good. It's so good. And just, there's so much emotion. Like, I actually teared up the second time I watched it, not even the first time I watched it. The second time, when I was really just honed in on trying to figure out what I think of this. I mean, the first time it was enough where I instantly concluded this was my favorite song of the day. But second time, I wanted to see if maybe that was too hasty. Maybe Kobo was in fact better. No, this is just such a intense, emotional song. and I don't even understand the lyrics. I mean, I imagine it's fairly sad. I mean, the video is fairly sad when you really pay attention to what's happening. But it's just such a beautiful thing. And just I love that song so much. And Canada did so much justice to it, doing it live. Just stunningly good. The sad part is, Kali was also amazing. Like, I would have loved to actually give my Oshi the best song of the night, because if Kanata does not exist, Kali actually probably does get it, because this was her best Fest performance. Kali did a medley. I'm not always crazy about the medley ideas, but when you're Mori Calliope, then suddenly the medley makes all the sense in the world. She has just so many songs. There were so many songs that she could have done, and I don't think if she had done any one of her songs just singularly, I don't think I could have been completely satisfied, because I mean, I just saw her do all of them last week, all the new ones. So, like, she gets up there, does Go Getters, like, who cares? She does Don Mai, I mean, better song choice, but still, it's not on its own gonna be hype enough. But she does Make 'Em Afraid, then Flashbang, and then Don Mai. That's how you get to me. That's how suddenly everything just works. I mean, it's great. Of the three songs she could have chosen, I think that's perfect. That's one from Jikoku 6, one from Phantomime, and then in the middle, something post-Phantomime that has a completely different rap vibe. So it's just a full display of everything Kali can do, and I think she was on point. I think this really showed how she's leveled up as a idol and as a talent, and just in terms of stage presence, which is something I saw the week before with her Hololive, but which people who didn't see her Hololive wouldn't have been aware of, just seeing how better she is at commanding a stage and just performing these songs. And I think this is easily her best Fest performance. And if Canada doesn't exist, it would have been her Fez. But yeah, still solid SS. Then Kobo and Marine came out. They did I, and yeah, it was good. Very solid S+. I mean, it's a great song, and they have a lot of charisma, a lot of chemistry together as performers. Good choreography. Everything was on point. The visuals were cool. Sounded great. Not really one of the most hype moments of the show for me, but it's in that second tier under that. Because it was just, yeah. Great show, a great song, and a great way to end the show, or well, before the actual end, which is another kind of nothing. I'll put A+ with the other Colorized Harmony, but again, that's mostly just because it's a new song, at least. Though, I mean, this is the second time hearing it at the show, so maybe it should be diminishing returns. I don't know, though. Though, again, with the second performance in particular, I did not like the reglass thing, because they're not even... you can't give them the t-shirts this way. The special thing about the ending song is the t-shirts. But Reglass, they weren't allowed their t-shirts. And it's just kind of sad. I don't know. I'm just being silly. But anyway, next we had the Creators stage. And this was interesting. This was kind of what they did in place of how they've had the Dekonina and the Honeyworks stages in previous years. Now we had the Creators stage, which is still kind of a nebulous idea. I don't really know. I mean, this just kind of seems like a greatest hits show. And because of that, it wasn't really that exciting to me. Like, I like the new and fresh stuff. I'm not really looking for repeats from previous years. Although they did kind of find a way to make some of these songs a bit more interesting, which we'll talk about going forward. But before that, we got Our Bright Parade. Again, I really like this of the Idol project songs. This is, and the concert themes in particular, this is my favorite that they've done. So this gets an A+, because I'm just glad to hear it again. I know I've heard it a lot at this point, but I don't know. I like it more than Capture the Moment. And it's kind of good to get a different one. I don't know why they didn't just do what they did before and have the first song for the stage 1, 2, and 3 be different. Like, I mean, I know I've heard Kirameki Rider and Shining Smiley Story enough as well, but it would have been good to just have all three and not have Capture the Moment every single time for the other 3 stages. So, I mean, because of that, that's another reason to put Our Bright Parade, the one time we did get it, up a tier higher. But yeah, anyway, Creator Stage, it was older songs mostly, and songs we've heard before, at Fez sometimes. I don't think Alibi Bunny was ever performed at Fez. It's kind of a song in Pepera's discography I don't really think about all that much. I kind of forgot it existed. Not a bad song. And she did it with Flair and Ollie, and it was kind of interesting because they started without Pepera. It was just Flair and Ollie, and then Pepera showed up like a third of the way in. Maybe not a third. It was like just after the first verse, I think. But Pepera showed up late to her own song, which was kind of funny. And I do kind of like this approach to make these songs a bit more fresh by kind of adding this group element and just putting other members on the song with the member who sang the song. That makes it a bit more interesting than just singing it straight. Although they still did that sometimes for some of these songs. But I definitely preferred it when they didn't, when they did have these additional performers and kind of made a new arrangement. That was always a bit more fun. Though, again, Alibi Bunny, not really one of my favorite Pekora songs. It was kind of just okay. So, it's an A+. Next, we had Bishoujo Muzai Pirates. This was Marine, of course, and she was joined at first by Koyori, but then Biju and Zeta showed up. So, Marine assembled a crew. And this was a lot of fun. This was a very fun one. I think, just the group aspect of it made it a lot of fun. It's a fun song in the first place. So even though it's one of Marine's older, I mean, it's not really that old. I think didn't come out last year, but I think it was a worthwhile performance. I think S is where it belongs. Biju was cute. Like seeing her do some of the Marine choreography, that was fun. I don't know. I liked it. Then we had Play Dice from Bay, which was kind of interesting. Because, I mean, this is an old song, obviously. But it's one Bay never did at Fez. I mean, Bay usually does covers at Fez. This was the song for her to do 2 years ago, but instead she did something better by doing some breathtaking dance to some cover. Wasn't it Goddish? I think, that was her Fez debut, and that was amazing. And definitely the right choice, especially considering that when we eventually did get Play Dice at Fez, it was a little bit underwhelming. I mean, it's still great. I mean, it's still Bay doing the performance, but in terms of Bay performances and just how good they consistently tend to be, this didn't have quite the same energy to it. I don't know. There wasn't as much to really latch onto with it. It was just a bit more generic in a sense, just what you would expect from a Hololive performance, and not something like incredible that we've never seen before. So I'm gonna put it at S. I do like the song still, and I mean, I can't say she's done it before at Fez, particularly. So, Next we had Bibidaba, and it was all of Gen Zero. So that was kind of cool. Gen Zero, the entirety of the generation assembled. And I kind of like Gen Zero, just like the idea of them being these particular, it's not really an official gen, or at least it didn't start that way. It was just these 5 who have their own very unique stories banding together because they were all kind of on their own. And most of them were some of the first that debuted in Holo, and it's just cool how they've come together and formed this unit. And I appreciate it. Bibidaba is a great song. And I don't know. I really appreciated seeing all of them on it together. So this is going to be our first S plus of Creator Stage, because it was just really good. But it's not going to be our last S plus, though we also achieves that distinction with Hollow Hawk. This was in the cube, I think, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Hollow Hawk is another Louis song that I'm just absolutely crazy about. I think I still prefer Evil Eye Wink, but this is my number 2 Louis song. And it was really good. And it's another one where I can't say she's done it before at Fes, because last year she did Fools, 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 right? Yeah, she hasn't done Hollow Hawk, and it's a great song, and I don't think she was debuffed by the cube too badly. Yeah, pretty easy S plus to give. Just a lot of charm on display. And speaking of charm, we have another S plus with Callie doing Go Getters. She brought out Narissa. Narissa joined her, and I think Narissa is the perfect person to sing Go Getters with Callie. It just kind of fits her vibe. Go Getters is not really one of my favorite Callie songs. I think it's good, but it was actually my least favorite song on Phantomime. I thought it was good in a not particularly interesting way, I think is what I said. And I kind of hold by that. It's definitely a fun, very well-produced, slick song. But, I don't know, just in terms of, I like Callie's more lyrical stuff. And it's not one of my favorites of her. But I think, and if she would have done just on her own, I think this probably would have scored pretty low, actually. But bringing out Narissa, I think, is enough to score an S+, because I think Narissa just had the right vibes. She had the right energy for it, and that kind of just made it more fresh, more interesting, and it made for a pretty cool, memorable performance that was a lot of fun. Next, Marine. Marine came back again. And she's not done. I think there was more Marine on the Creator Stage than anyone else. And she did Treasure Box, which definitely a song that's maybe been done a bit too much at this time. So I'm putting it at S. It's still such an excellent song, though I can't put it lower. I think, it's kind of one of those situations where maybe I shouldn't reward her with a decent tier placement for doing this song again. But it's just one of her best songs, and the choreography for it is always just so charming. She puts her all into acting out the song. I think that's something that Marina is very good at, and even though I've seen her perform Treasure Box so many times now, I was still kind of pulled into it. So good job on Marine. I think maybe she should have been in the cube, though. That would have been kind of fun to actually have her sing the song about being in a box while in a box. Kind of missed opportunity. But, yeah, it was good. Also good was Gira Gira fan meeting with Nene and Fuamoko, which, I think that's pretty perfect. Kind of like the Narissa with Callie thing. I think if we were going to get any members of Hololive to join Nene in singing Gira Gira fan meeting, I think Fuamoko are probably at the top of that list. Just, it's a good matchup, and I appreciate it. And I love that song just in the first place. That's the song that Nene did last year, so again, not very fresh, kind of recycled from the fest before, but adding Fuamoko makes it kind of fresh, and it's such a good song in the first place that this is another S+. And it was also just super cute, and I really love that song. That's the one that made me love Nene. Next, Subaru and Noel. This was Gyudon Carnival, and actually one of the better performances of the creator stage, I would say. It's a great song for the first part, just very fun, very silly, good, what you would expect from a Great New Wild song. But I feel like Subaru she makes it so much more hype. Like, she is so good at just adding that hype to the song and just adding a whole new dimension. And just their interactions on stage were very cute. There was like a hug and like it was very precious, very cute. Almost an SS, but I'm gonna put it S plus. Very, very good stuff. Next was Okayu. She did Mogo Mogo Yummy, and hate to do it, but I don't know. Mogu Mogu Yummy. It's a bit tired at this point. It's iconic. It's basically a standard of Hololive at this point. I mean, Ame did a cover of it at Breaking Dimensions. That was her Breaking Dimensions. We're at the point where other Holo members bring this out at shows that don't even involve Okayu. It's just a standard that they turn to. So, yeah, it's just... I don't really gain anything by seeing Mogu Mogu Yummy sung solo by Okayu again. So, yeah. A+. I mean, it's a charming enough song, and I do like seeing the whole crowd get into it, like all the perfectly in time Mogu Mogus from that giant crowd at the end. Like, there is a charm in that, which is probably why I put it at A+ instead of A. But, yeah. That's where it goes. Then we had, on the more positive side of things, Sparks from Kiara, which is an easy S+, and again, kind of like with Noel's song, almost SS. This was, again, one of the best songs of the night. This was really cool. Iris and Kiara is a duo that I don't really think that much about. I don't really feel like they do a lot together, but it works really well. Like, they complement each other very well in terms of performance. Like, their voices go well together. And even like dancing, or just it works somehow. Like, and Sparks, I feel, is a song that hasn't really run its course. Like, I don't feel like it's had a lot of performances. I don't think it was ever at Fes even, because she debuted. She did Hinotori at her first Fes, and I think her second Fes it had to have been Do You, right? And then Chimera. And now Mirage. So Sparks never had its turn up there. And I thought the choreography they had for it was very fun, and they sounded amazing, and it was just a very excellent, very high-class performance. This didn't need to happen. Like, you don't give me the same song twice in the same Fes. I mean, I know it's on two different stages, but I did not need to be performed on both stage 2 and the creator stage. Like, it's just redundant. And this version wasn't even as good. Like, the backdrop was less interesting. Because the backdrop on stage 2, it had like the anime visuals from the music video, and it was just more lights, I feel like, and just more to hold on to. And the only other difference is they were in the idol costumes for that one, so there was a bit more, they just felt more in sync because they're both wearing like the same outfit. So it was just better. And this is like an inferior version of something I've heard the night before, so it didn't need to exist. I don't know. I don't like it. I mean, it's a great song in a vacuum. If you only bought tickets to the creator stage, then I guess you're pretty grateful and you really love the song. Then you got it, and I'm sure you're happy. But if you're just watching the whole show, then this is just redundant. Next, we had High Tide. And this was Muna. She brought out Iofi to sing it with her. And I don't know. I don't feel like Iofi is a good fit for the song. Like, as I was saying before, Narissa is exactly who you want to sing Go Getters with Callie. Fuamoko are exactly who you want to sing Gira Gira Fan Meeting with Nene. Yofi on High Tide just feels kind of odd. I know she's Muna's friend and gym mate. But just in terms of the vibe of the song, I don't really feel like it meshes with her exactly. It's just such a heavy song, and Yofi, she's just so not, like, I've never really seen that from her. So it just felt kind of weird to me. And I mean, I've seen High Tide enough, so just overall, it's a great song, but it's an A+. Next we had Toa. Toa did Palette, which I don't think she's actually done at Fest before. But I mean, it is kind of an older song at this point. Still, it was a very good performance. Her vocal was excellent. The crowd was pretty well into it, and the band sounded amazing on it. So even though, I mean, it's not a song I'm really desperate to hear right now in the moment, it was still a very solid performance and enough for an S. Then we had Mio. Mio came out with Yako Sushin, and she was joined by Ayame. And this is a Mio song that I kind of forgot existed. Not really one that stood out to me that much, and I think she also did it at Fest a couple of years ago. So, yeah, again, another just not very memorable performance that goes in the A+ tier. I mean, it's still good. It's still, while I'm listening to it, I'm happy. So it's not A, but I don't know. Not one of the strongest of the night. What was one of the strongest of the night, though, was Watame. She came out with My Song. Again, recycled, but again, incredible, because it's just such a good song. And again, everything was just on point with it. The band, again, really, really going hard on this one. Though what really sold me on it was Watame herself. Like, she doesn't sing it like she's sung it a million times before. She sings it like every aspect of the song still matters to her intimately, and just puts so much emotion into what she's singing that I still buy into it like I haven't heard it a million times. And that makes it just somehow still incredible. Next we have another absolute highlight, another one that was almost an SS, which, spoiler alert at this point, there are no SSs for a creator stage, but this is one that came close at least, because this is Miko doing Dai Dai, what the hell is it called? Where is it on the list? Dai 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 Fantasista, which is a new song, actually. This is a song that came out in the last year, between last Fest and this Fest. This was one of her songs from her new album. So Miko actually did the cool thing that I wish more of them would do, which is, if they had more than one song that came out in the last year, instead of going to like a way older song, just do one of those. But yeah, it was great, very fun. I mean, I'm glad obviously she did what she did on stage 3, which we'll get to in time. But like, yeah, this is a song she could have done as her solo on the main stage. Yeah, it was really good, high energy, fun time for Miko, one of the best of the night. Then we had Suisei with Soiree, which, I gotta be honest, I know a lot of people really like it, but Soiree, not really one of my favorite Suisei songs. It's kind of mid to me. Like, it's good, but it's not one I ever really revisit. Like, I don't know what it is either. Like, objectively, she sounds great. I think it's got a fine melody. It's just, it doesn't really have a lot of appeal to me. So another Suisei song not really ranking that high, which is a bit shocking. I mean, she did kind of win that first day with her duet, so there is at least something up there for Suisei. But yeah, again, And again, it's not that fresh either. I mean, she never sang it on its own for Fez, but she did do it as part of a medley, I think last year, or was it the year before? But she did a medley that it contained at least part of Soiree. So, yeah, not entirely fresh either. And then we had Color Rise Harmony. I don't even know why we bother doing this on the stage, on the creator stage, but again, I'll put it with other Color Rise Harmonies, I guess. Just nothing really to say about it. Although I guess this was the biggest ensemble for it, because there were more performers on the creator stage than any of the other stages. And also, it was the only time they did it in their default outfits instead of the idol costumes, so at least that makes it unique. But yeah, still not very interesting. Also not interesting was Capture the Moment on stage 3. My thoughts are the same as the other Capture the Moments. Just, again, we're only really caring about who has the midriff window and who doesn't. And stuff like that. Who has the black jacket? Who has the white one? Which the jackets are kind of cool. Like we only really see those during the Capture the Moments, so that's kind of interesting. But it is cool how these new idol costumes have like 2 different looks to them. Anyway, moving on to the solo performances, we had our first, which was Lammy, and she chose to get everyone pumped up with her Lammy Bari Bari workout. The definition of a hype song. And definitely a good one to lead off on. I don't think it's like ever going to be like one of my favorites, but it's a fun song and something very different from what Lammy's done before. I think she brought a lot of charisma to it. It was charming. It was fun. It was silly. Easy S. And then Subaru came out. She did Hoshiakeru Sore, which is one of the new songs from her recently released album. I listened to it recently in the video that came out yesterday, and it was kind of not really that. It didn't really leave that much of an impact on me. I think it's a decent song, but just kind of one of those middle of the road songs that isn't inherently all that interesting. I think the band kind of added to it a lot, and that maybe saves it from the A+. And Subaru herself, I mean, she has a good voice, and I think she performed it well. I think it's enough for an S, but maybe just barely. Next was Mio. She unfortunately doesn't quite get to that S. She gets A+. Colorful Universe just isn't a song that's really had much staying power with me. It's fine, but another one where as soon as it's done, I'm already on to the next thing and not really thinking about it. Yeah, I mean, Mio sounded good. And then she stayed on the stage to join her cohorts in Ayafubumi, that classic trio. And they did a medley, or at least a 2-song medley, which I kind of feel like you need 3 songs for it to be to officially be a medley. You need at least 3. But yeah, well, another one of those split song things where we started with Oni Kemo Dance and then we moved on to Haka Yoren, whatever it is. Yeah, it was really, really hype. This was actually very good. Like, these 3, obviously, I mean, they work together so much. And I do like the decision to do a split song because they do have so many songs. And you don't get this matchup all the time at Fez. Like, they try to do different sort of groupings every time we have one of these, so it's not always going to be the case that these 3 are even on the same day. So when they are, and when they decide to do songs together, then it's good to actually have them acknowledge more than one of these great songs. And I think it was a good decision, and I think what we got was just thoroughly excellent, high energy. The visuals were great, the backdrops, the effects, just everything was on point. The band sounded amazing. And the dancing was very charming. Just all that. Just lots of great dance moves. And it was fun. And an easy SS for Ayafubumi. They were great. And it's good to put something in that category again, because we didn't get anything for the creator stage there. Which, I mean, if there's nothing SS, there's not going to be an SS Plus either, obviously. Though if you are wondering what my favorite song of the night for creator stage was, it probably was Sparks with Kiara and Iris. I think that was probably the best thing. Followed by Noelle and Subaru and maybe Miko. Those three were definitely the absolute highlights. Speaking of highlights, Zeta came on. Which is kind of an odd thing, because Zeta is probably the member in Hololive I think about the least. Especially of the members who actually do speak English. Like, I don't really encounter her very often. Like, not in clips, not in anything. Like, she's just never... like, especially compared to her gen mates, like Kyla. I see Kyla all the time and stuff. And then Kobo, the same. But Zeta, like, I never encounter her. And because of that, I have no expectations when she comes on the stage. Like, I don't really... I don't really expect anything good or bad. And when she came on stage for stage 3, she decided to debut a new song. And, you do get bonus points for debuting a new song, but it has to be a good song for that to even matter. And this was definitely a good song. I think this was much better than her first original, which was fine. I think that's a good song too, but this one, I think, just had more of a hook, and it was a really cool sound, and even more of a revelation than the song being good, though, was like the dance that went along with it. Like, I didn't know Zeta was that charismatic a performer. Like, she was really bringing the dance moves. She really owned that stage, and it was an unexpected highlight. Like, I didn't expect Zeta at all to be that good, and she was definitely just really, really excellent. Kind of one of the bigger surprises of the night. Yofi did a cover. Apparently the song is Dana Sama Tono Love 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 Song. And really, it was just cute. There wasn't anything wrong with it. But it was just pretty much pure moe. And that's fine. But I didn't really have much of a takeaway from it. It just happened and was cute, and I enjoyed it, and then we moved on. So it's another A+. Next was Ayame's solo, and Ayame did a full medley of 3 songs. Yo no yo yoi, Kawayo, and Yume Hanabi. And this is another one where I think the medley was the smart choice. Because... yeah, it's a smart choice when you're Callie and you have like 50 different songs you could do. But it's also smart when you're Ayame and you haven't released a new song at all in the past year. The last song you released was at least I'm pretty sure she didn't release anything. I think the last song she did release was the song she did for last year's Fes. So, yeah, doing a medley where we just revisit some of the old classics. I think that was a good choice. And I don't think she ever did Yume Hanabi on stage before, at least not on the Fez stage, so that was kind of new. And it was all just very charming, very high energy, and everything I want from Miami. So I think it was a smart choice to do the medley. I think it was a very good medley, and I think it was an easy S+. Then we had Yofi, Anya, and Zeta, and they came out with a song called Suki, which I thought was whatever. It was cute, it was fun. A bit repetitive for me, the song, I think. And I don't know, I wasn't feeling it that much. Though, I mean, obviously the 3 of them are very cute, and it wasn't bad or anything. It was still enjoyable. But, yeah, it goes A+. Then we had Aki, and I was thrilled. That she didn't decide she had to sing Chalice for the 5th time. She decided, you know what, let's actually sing one of my other songs. And I think it paid off. I think this was an excellent performance, because she does have other songs, and they're good. If you're a Destiny situation, it's a good one. I'm glad she decided to sing it. Maybe more people will be aware of it now. But yeah, she sounded great. Her vocals were excellent. Her dancing, very cute, very fun. Um, it was everything I want from Aki. Very charismatic, and engaging, and just a very just solid all around good performance. Another good performance was from Anya. Anya, like Zeta, decided to debut a new song called Chronic. And the shock of this song is I think this is the first time I've ever heard Anya sing in English. The song is fully in English. And it was pretty cool. I don't think I was quite as impressed with it as Break It Down by Zeta. So this actually scores a tier lower, S+, but I still respect her deciding to debut a new song. And the song was good, and it was fun to hear her sing a song in English. Because, there aren't that many songs at Fes that are in English. So it was good to get another one. And she sounded really cute. Her performance was fun. Yeah, just a solid S+ there. Next we had Choco Sensation from Choco, and this was good. It's not really my favorite Choco song, but I think she made it, she elevated it, largely through her performance, her choreography. I think Choco has become a high-level idol, and I don't know, she just sort of sold me on it. So I think based on song selection, maybe I'd put it A+, but based on everything else, I think she did enough to make it an S. And it was good. Next one is we had a medley again. This time a group medley with Sora, Subaru, and Miko. And they decided, I guess because all three of them wanted to do their more slower emotional songs, that for their medley, their group medley, they'd go ahead and just stuff all their fun, silly songs in one place and do it that way. And I think it paid off. In the case of Subaru and maybe even Sora to an extent, I would have preferred to get just full versions of these songs, but I don't know. I'm glad I at least got some of Hot Duck and Star Star Start. Because, they're great songs. And, seeing them all do these together, too. I think that kind of adds to the fun to get, Subaru and Sora and Miko together on Hot Duck, Star Star Start, and Kyun Kyun Miko Kyun Kyun. Which, those are the three songs, by the way. It does add to the dimension of the fun for these very fun songs to have all three of them. So I think it just kind of compounds to a very fun whole and an easy SS. That was just pure enjoyment. Speaking of pure enjoyment, this is also SS. Crony sang Lowly Kami Requiem, which is one of the top things I can't believe happened at Fes. Just totally unexpected. In terms of Hololive's singing Lowly Kami Requiem, Crony probably has to be towards the bottom of the list for members I would expect to do that. Because she probably is. She's probably the least lowly member in Hololive, isn't she? Maybe you could make a case for Kyla? But Kyla has a lowly character tied to her, so maybe that, I don't know. Maybe Louis? Maybe, I just, Crony, though. It's so unexpected. And yet she went hard on it. She really got into that character. And she just did the dance. She was cute as hell. It was so fun and so just great and enjoyable. And a highlight of the night. And we're on a run. We're 3 in a row. Because Crony was every bit, or Corone was every bit as excellent as Crony. She did Mad Popcorn World, which is a song I think when I first heard it, I knew that this would be a killer performance song. Like, I mean, on its own, I don't know if it's a song that I would revisit as much as some of Corone's others, but just the Mad Carnival vibe, I mean, this is going to be fun on the stage. And it was. She was doing all sorts of tricks, flips, flips and rolls, and just living that crazy song. And the energy was through the roof. Just the crowd was loving it. And she was just bringing the charm. Just totally memorable, fun performance. Definitely one of the best. And the streak sadly ends there. Okayu was good, but not quite that good. She's an S. She was in the Cube, and she did "Just a Kiss," her latest song. And I don't think, I mean, Just a Kiss is a great song, but I don't think it would ever really reach like the extra hype levels because it's a chill sort of intimate romantic song. It's not really gonna be like the hypest thing in the world. But it's another one where I feel like the Cube actually maybe helped a little bit because it kind of adds to that intimacy and just the vibe of it. But still, it's still just an S. It was fun, but yeah, didn't really blow me away or anything. And then we had a group song with Ina, Gura, Crony, and Mume, which, if you on paper, I mean, that sounds like it's going to be the best thing of the night. But I didn't actually really vibe with this all that much. It didn't really do a whole lot with me. The song was called ID Smile, and yet Ian does it, but that's beside the point. I don't know. It wasn't bad, and there were some good parts in there. I feel like Ina got all the good vocal parts, which was kind of interesting. Yeah, just in terms of being a standout moment of the show, it really wasn't for me. I mean, still enjoyable. And sadly, Robico is kind of in the same boat there. She did a song called Anima. I'm kind of sad because I really liked her last original. I would have rather she did that. But I feel like that didn't really get that much attention. Not enough. Not nearly enough as it deserved. Yeah, the song she did was fine. And I really love Robico's voice, but I feel like this didn't really highlight what I love so much of her as a vocalist. And it didn't really stand out very much to me. It was another one that was good while it was happening and then forgotten. Ina did Aishta, and it was excellent. I feel like this is a perfect song choice for her. Like, her voice just feels suited to this song, and I think she actually really excelled. Like, there were some great sustained notes in there. Like, nothing like Contact Crazy levels, but still very notably impressive. She sounded great. It's one of the best vocals I've heard from her, in fact. I mean, thinking back on it, I'm surprised I didn't go for an SS here. Like, maybe I should have. But I guess maybe I didn't want too many. I wanted to balance it out a bit more. It was at least, I imagine, on the line there. This is very high quality, very strong vocal. Really, really good stuff. I think I just realized something. I didn't actually choose an SS Plus for Stage 3. At least not on paper. But I think mentally I made my decision. And I think mentally my decision was that it was this. Gura, she brought it. Gura did Dango Daikazuku, the old Clannad song. Now, I have my issues with Clannad, actually. I'm not a fan of After Story. But I still do have nostalgia for it, and that song in particular. It does move something inside of me. But even more than that, I just feel like it's what I want Gura to sing, this kind of song. Like, I feel like in past Fezes, Gura has, like, she's kind of gone more for, like, high-octane Vocaloid songs, which is fine, and she can definitely do that okay, but it never really leads to, like, the hypest Gura moment for me. Like, I like, when I hear Gura, like, sing karaoke, I like the quieter songs. I like that part of her voice when she's, like, doing something tender and just gentle. And in Dango Daikazuku, that's all it is. It's just... And there's something just really satisfying. I mean, there's something satisfying about seeing a giant crowd like that all hyped up and loud, but there's something even more amazing about seeing a crowd like that just completely silent as this quiet, beautiful song plays, and the mood is just so gentle and soft. I mean, Kobo kind of went for the same thing, but I think Gura, and maybe it's because I know the song actually, Gura kind of even outdid that, and it was just so beautiful, like just a moment of pure beauty, and I think it was my favorite song of Stage 3, even though on the paper I'm looking at, I didn't actually mark it as such. I didn't mark anything. I think I was still kind of a bit non-committal, but this was what was leading in my head. Yeah, very good. Also good, but not as good, was the Roboco Aki Choco duet. This was an S. It was really a very good fit for them, I felt like. I felt like they had a good song choice. It just sort of felt great for the vibe of all three of them somehow, even though they're very different talents. They just picked something really funky, and it just worked. And it was not the most memorable song ever for me, but I just feel like it fit them so well that elevated it a bit and got it up in that tier. Very good. Also pretty good was Botan. She did Hikari, which I would have liked the other new song, the ridiculously titled Hold Me Homie. I think I like that more. But yeah, Hikari's fine. And I think she did a very good vocal, and it came together. It was good. It was all really solid. Not the hypest thing ever, but I mean, respectably good and memorable. Next was Mume, and she is an easy S+. She found a song, and Mume is always really good at song selection, I feel like. She found another song that I just think perfectly suits the Mume vibe. This is just straight Mume core. It was a song called Semi-Transparent Boy, and I don't know, it just felt like it just fit Mume like a glove, and I can't even really explain it. It just worked. Like, she sounded great on it, the band sounded great. It came together in a way that was appealing, and led to a very, very memorable, fun performance. Also very fun and memorable was Lammy and Botan, who sang a song called Gimme Gimme together. And it was very good. I liked this quite a bit. I marked it as an S+, but I can't really remember too much. Like, in the moment. I mean, maybe it should be lower, but no, I trust myself. I think this was... I'm kind of remembering it. Like, they had very good chemistry together. It was very cool. It was the right vibe for them. And it's another classic pair, kind of like Noel and Flair earlier. It's just kind of good to see these classic pairs together. And yeah, it was good. I'm actually out of order here. Fubuki was before, or Sora was before Fubuki, apparently. Sora, yeah, she did Lucky Seventh Whistle, which was another, which was a very strong song from Sora. I feel like it's one of my favorites from her recently. I mean, obviously I like Star Star Start more, because it's just so much fun. But if she wasn't going to do that for the full solo performance, this is probably the song I would have wanted her to do. It's a big emotional song with a lot of... I don't even know if I can explain the appeal of it, but it's just a good song. It's just a good song. And she sang it, her vocal was perfect. I think this was also in the Cube. It's maybe one of the ones where maybe I would have ranked it higher if it wasn't. Like if there were more... If it was on the stage and there were more visual aspects to it. But as it was, very, very solid, very good vocal. And yeah, another S+. Then Fubuki. Fubuki did Supernova. I think she had better songs on her album that she got it on. But this was still good. And the crowd seemed to love it. And I think that kind of elevated it a bit for me. And put it to an S. It was, yeah, just another really good Hololive Fest performance. But not one I have really that much to say about. What I do have some stuff to say about is If from Okayu and Korone. And I'm thankful to whichever one of you, and I think I remember who it is. I'm thankful that you decided to request that I react to that old Korone Okakoro clip. Because that gave me a lot of context for this. I mean, if I didn't have that context, I wouldn't have really realized what this was. And I would have thought, like, why did they take this song where the split is so uneven? It's just Okayu singing for most of it, and Korone's not really doing anything. I was like, what is this? But because I had that context, I know how special this is, that they took that moment, that just beloved history between these two, and brought it to the Fez stage. Like, that is so cool. And it was just cool to see that moment brought to life in such a new way. I mean, that is the rap dog. That is like something that people still remember and still request reaction YouTubers to react to. So it's just cool that we got that in this new form. And I mean, also just on its own, Okayu sounded amazing. Beautiful vocals the whole way through. And Korone, again, she was doing flips and stuff. And I mean, her rap parts were freaking adorable, as we've come to expect. And it was just a moment, and very special. And definitely something people will talk about going forward. And easily, it is another SS. And yeah, then we had Miko. Miko came out, and she did her solo, the final song before the big group song. And this was also in the Cube, and it was Flower Rhapsody, which, I mean, obviously that's, I think, the right song for her to do. I mean, it's my favorite Miko song. It's the best song on her album. And it's such a big, emotional, powerful song. And I think it was beautiful. Again, I kind of feel like this is one where I think it might have been an SS if it wasn't in the Cube. But as it was, it gets S+. I would have liked a bit more theatrics to it, and not have it contained. But yeah, still really just, I mean, it was what I wanted. I wanted her to do this song, and I think she did it really great. And it was a powerful, excellent moment, and I'm glad we got it. And that pretty much wraps things up. Obviously, this Stage 3 Colorized Harmony, that's also A+, like the other Colorized Harmonies. Um, that kind of covers everything. So yeah, there we are. That's the completed tier list. These are our 3 SS Plus songs, the best of Stage 1, 2, and 3. And these are the songs that are in the SS territory, the songs that could have been the contenders, but because I only picked one for this category, that's where they go. These are the S Plus songs, other highlights, other performances that really stood out to me. These are the S's, basically just songs that were really, really good, standouts. A plus, songs that were enjoyable, but didn't really stick with me. And then A, I kind of just wish I was listening to something else at this moment. I just wish that they did a different song. That's how it goes. That was everything performed at 6th Fes. All in all, great show. I do feel like the creators stage was probably a bit of a misstep. I kind of liked it better when we had the previous ones, the Honeyworks and the Deconina. I mean, obviously they didn't do an album like that this year, so they had to do what they had to do. I guess they couldn't really scale it back. They've gotten so big in the previous years, they can't just suddenly decide to make a smaller Fez. Like, that would not be the right direction. So they had to fill the gap with something. But, creator stage, it just wasn't that hype. Because, I mean, with those other shows, at least it was all new material, even if there's no real mystery of what the set list is going to be, because it's just going to be all those songs. But, at least they were all new. All in all, that all aside, and despite my reservations with things like the Cube and not... which, again, I'm sure that's so cool when you're actually there. And also with the regloss outfits. Kind of a sticky point for me. But all that aside, another excellent Fez. Really happy to see the girls up there on that stage. I think they all really put their all into it, and it was fun to watch. I'm happy to be a Hololive fan, and I'm excited for future Fezes, see what we get next year. I mean, hopefully we get some Justice, maybe even some Flow Glow. That'll be exciting. That pretty much sums it up. This was another HoloFest tier list. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts, what you liked, what your favorites were, what the best song of each stage was. I'm always very interested to hear the different opinions and how people's thoughts on the show differs from mine. I love responding to comments on these videos in particular, and very curious to hear what you all have to think. Anyway, that's it for this. This is 2 hours. I think this is the longest one of these I've done so far. The last year's was... last year's was 157, so just under 2 hours. This is over 2 hours. But not as badly... I only went about 10 minutes longer. So, not that bad. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the reaction. Or, not the reaction. This is not a reaction, definitely. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you did. See you in the next one.